Hi, everybody out there on the internet. Not to everybody, but to the Lord's people. Whether they're aware that they are the people of the Lord, whether they're in the wilderness of their mind, I'm reaching out to God's people. Because, demons are on the net as well. And I'm not saying hi to them. I'm saying hi to God's people. Whether you're a Christian or you're not, but you belongs to God, I'm saying hi to you. Something rests on my mind, and I often think about it, and I'm saddened by the thought of it. I have never really met anyone that have gone through a sex change, but I'm sure many people that have been through this process have some feelings of guilt or remorse. And those people, when I think about them, it always gives me a sad feeling to say, can you imagine you had your penis before and you cut it off? You went to the surgery, to the doctors, and you said you don't want it anymore, you want it off, and you get rid of it. Or a person with a vagina can't do much change, so I think that stays the same. But I feel bad for the men that have taken this very drastic decision to get rid of their penis to try to have a vagina. And I feel bad for those women that have gotten rid of their breasts and to think that they were born to be a man. And very, very, the media tried to get us to accept this subtle change in people, or this problem in people where they can't identify who they are, or they ask the question, am I a man or am I a woman? They don't know who they are. And the more they live, the more they feel uncomfortable thinking that, oh, I was born to be a man or I was born to be a woman. And then they try to do something about it. The media doesn't really cover this much, the sad side effect, emotional effect of this decision. They don't cover it. What I notice is a trend going on. When people decided to change their sex, I noticed that the media promotes it. If you're a homosexual, the media promotes it. If you don't feel comfortable in your skin as a man or a woman and you decide to do a sex change, the media promotes it. So, oh, it's such a wonderful thing. But when you're left alone by yourself in your thoughts, at nights, especially in your bed, when you're thinking all the problems, so you thought that your problem would go away. Now that you have taken this decision and you have done this, you thought that, oh, I have found myself now. I know who I am. I'll be very comfortable now. And you realize that, oh, this is the worst decision I've made in my entire life. And you have no one to talk to. The media doesn't cover this side of the story. They don't put it on Facebook. They don't put it on WhatsApp. They don't put it out there for people to know that there's people suffer from making this decision. But and if you look at the causes of this problem, what's the root problem behind these people? Why have they chosen to do this, to make this decision in their life? You will find out that a lot of these people have been abused. They had a rough childhood. They were either molested sexually or they were abused. Sometimes maybe none of the above. Maybe they just had this confusion, because when evil spirit enter people, they try to confuse you for you to do things to regret it, so you can live with this weight and burden every day of your life and want to commit suicide because of the decision that you have taken. Now, people, I leave your comments. Please leave your comments, and please leave your concern, because my heart is with you guys, and I want to be a friend to these people that have gone through this process and are living with this regret. But I can tell you one thing, the only person that can fix it is God. When you think that all hope is lost, and when you think that what can I do, the only way I see out is death, is best I kill myself and get rid of myself from around here, because I can't look people in the eyes I can't tell people what I've done. I can't let people know that I was a man, a real man, and look at me now, and I'm so ashamed of the decision that I've taken. There's people that will support you. There's people that will love you. There are people that understand your pain, and they really understand your pain, because it's like losing your leg, cutting off your leg or cutting off your arm, and we understand the pain that these people are going through or have been through. So, but I must tell you this: the only way it can be fixed also is through God Almighty. You must reach out to Him, go to a church or reach out to a group that can give you some comfort in your mind. I'm sure I have connected a video at the end of my speech here. There's a video, and you will see that there is hope. There's hope for people that have taken this decision. And like I said, leave your comment, leave your concern, leave if you're a person that have gone through a sex change and you want someone to hear. You can leave your comment. You can say something below. And this is also a way of saving people's life, that they don't get up and do this sort of change because they think it's cool to do, or they think that it's the right way out, because they see it on the internet or on the media houses that lots of people are doing this and they're happy and it's the way to go. It is not true. It is so not true. And because so many people have side effects, because immediately after they do this, they realize that it is wrong. What have I done with myself? What have I done? But like I said, there's hope. At the end, I've attached a video to my speech here, and you can listen it, and there's hope for you. There's hope for you. Believe me. It's just like if you have gotten rid of your penis, I'm sure you can go back to being a man somehow, and you can find someone that will understand you, will understand the decision that you have taken and or made in your life, and you can find a mate that will love you, and a one that will be true, because they understand what you have been through, what you have done, and they accept you the way you are. Please, people, think before you do anything. Think before you do anything that you will regret. This is the way of the devil to destroy people's happiness and life. You know, the world is not a happy place, you know. People parade all around every day behaving like, oh, I'm fine, look at me. They post pictures on Facebook and YouTube and all over to say, look at me, look how great my life is. Yes, your life is great, but what about someone's life that is going down? Stop just looking at yourself and see how beautiful you are. See if you can see beauty in someone else and save their lives. You know, let's be our brother's keeper. Let's be our brother's keeper. My heart goes out to everybody that have been through something like this, a sex change. And my heart goes out to those that are thinking about changing their sex. Please, don't do it. Don't do it. It's best for you to live with it. Okay, if you find out if you're a woman and you think that you're a man and you want to dress up and all that, okay, dress up like that, like a man, until hope comes. Because the real hope is in the Lord. Find someone that is real. Find a church that or some group that believes in God and will pray for you. Because this is evil in your body. There's someone in your body that wants you, don't want to take on that form. It's not you. If you're a woman and you have this sudden, well, not sudden, but maybe you thought that, oh, from I was a little, if, like I said, if you were a woman and from you were a kid, maybe say 6, 7, 8, 9, you think that you're a boy because you hang out with boys or you admire boys and you want to be a boy too. And you said, oh, it started happening from early as I can remember. Is because the devil he's not merciful to anybody, even the child in the womb. The devil's attack a child in the womb. So you can be born with this because the devil enter you from within the womb, attach itself to you from in the womb. It is true. Or they wait on you. As soon as you're born, they enter you. And they say, can the devil enter a baby? Yes. Because if your parents were living in sin, it gives them all right to enter that baby. It gives them, the devil doesn't wait on you to be a certain age. You have seen some children, they behave like they're possessed from they're small. Because evil is attached to them. So I'm saying, please be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Don't be in a rush to get rid of your penis or your breast, to think that this will fix the problem because you know that you're a woman inside or you know that you're a man inside. It's the spirit, it's that entity that is inside your body declaring who they are and want you to change to fit them. So my heart goes out to you, everybody that has a family member or a friend that has gone through a sex change. Talk to them. Talk to them and show them as much love and support as possible. Because this world is full of problems. Okay, watch my video and I hope you get some comfort. It's not me. I didn't make that video, I must say. I actually found it on the internet and I decided to show it to others. I've made some I've cut out some areas that so because it would be too long. But please, I hope you get some comfort in watching this. And my heart is with you guys, because we have to show love to people. We have to show love. Thanks for watching.
I started living as a female when I was 19 years old, had a sex change when I was 30 years old. I've now been living as a woman for 28 years, and I fully regret this.
Nobody can change genders. It's impossible. It's delusional. It's a mental illness.
Once I finally had the surgery, I went, oh, this was the wrong thing to do. It was the wrong thing to do to cut off my male anatomy.
The fact of the matter is that 40% of people who are attempting suicide are people who regret ever changing genders.
I read the Bible, and then I pray, and then I try to be still and listen for His voice, His guidance. Hi, my name is Billy Burley. I'm living here in Lompoc in this house, and I used to work for NASA. Y'all come. I was a skinny little introverted kid. Had a speech impediment and tried to talk, but a lot of people didn't understand me. My body told me that I belong with the boys, but my thoughts, my mind was saying that I belonged with the girls. And I didn't know which way to go. I wanted to be like my sisters. I thought I should be like my sisters. And when my older sister started wearing makeup, I started playing with some of her makeup in the bathroom. And then in the 6th grade, when I was on the Summer League swim team, and we had a new diving coach. Well, what he would do is, when he had a chance, he would play with me. He would fondle me and try to get me to have an erection and just continue to play with me.
First off, my name is Renee Jacks, and I'm an author. I've written 8 books so far, 3 of them to do with transsexuality. I was born male, grew up in a very conservative Republican family. My father was pretty much absent most of my childhood. He was an alcoholic. My mother was mentally ill. The childhood was so troubled and so traumatic that in retrospect, I was able to look at it and realize that there was no way I was getting out of childhood normal. You go and you take a shower and you're there to get clean, but every time I had to take off my clothes, every time I went to bathe, there's no getting around the fact that I wasn't a girl, that I was a boy. And that really is the one memory that sticks out, is just how much I hated my penis. By the time I left high school, when I was 18, I was cross-dressing most of the time once I was away from school. And a couple years afterwards, I ended up in San Francisco, which had a very small gay community. And I had made the decision by the time I was about 20 to start living full-time as a girl. When you start dating people, and if you pass well enough, the whole purpose is, are you a transsexual or are you a woman? And in my mind, I was always a woman. I'm wanting to date, and I'm not telling the men that I'm dating that I have a penis. And so when they find out, they become violent. There were a couple instances where I was beaten very badly. The main milestone was finding a doctor who would give me the hormones. If I get the hormones, female cross-sex hormones, my life will be perfect. And then you think, well, if I can only get my voice, get my male voice up here, then that'll make me, just happy. And then you think the next thing is, well, if I can get breast implants, that's all I need. It's never enough. And finally, if you've gone through the therapy and you can convince a doctor to start cutting on you, you go and you have a sex change. I had my sex change in 1990. And in the back of my mind, I thought it might be like all the other stuff I had done, but I was just hoping that would make me feel complete.
Pretty embarrassing to go through a gender change, to be that stupid, to believe that you can actually change genders. You got to be pretty ill-equipped to handle the truth. I was born in Los Angeles to a good family, good people. I was taken to my grandmother's house quite frequently, as my parents liked to go away on the weekend. They liked to camp and fish. I somehow became interested at my grandma's house in cross-dressing, and I had mentioned something to her about that. So she decided to make me a purple dress and allow me to put it on and wear the dress. I finally got so interested and excited about wearing the dress that I got tired of waiting till I was going to go to Grandma's house to secretly cross-dress. So I snuck the dress home. Well, my mom found the dress. And so then Dad got upset. I was never allowed to go to Grandma's house again. The first step was I changed my name secretly when I was about 13 years old to Crystal. Probably in my late 20s, I started to talk to doctors about hormone therapy, and I began to take hormone therapy. 35 years ago, there wasn't much information, and we concluded that based on everything that was available at the time, that undergoing hormone therapy, further hormone therapy, and gender reassignment surgery would be the answer to resolve this, quote, gender identity disorder. That's when in April of 1983, I underwent the gender reassignment surgery by Dr. Biber in Trinidad, Colorado. It was amazing. I felt like the world had been lifted from my shoulders, and it was all really wonderful. The only thing I don't know is, was it all the medication from 5 hours of surgery that made me feel this way, or was it because I'd gone through the surgery? Because you're pretty heavily medicated. My female name at the time was Laura Jensen.
I never had the full ability to have intercourse because the vagina that they make is so small. So anytime I tried to have intercourse, it was extremely painful and it wouldn't happen. So these surgeries are nothing more than plastic surgery. They don't create, the phalluses that they create for female to males are really hideous looking. I've had several female to male friends, and you look at it and you just go, oh God, you paid for that. It's horrible. The sex change didn't solve my discomfort. The doctors who are honest will say that the gender dysphoria is always there. And it's because the confusion is, it's not so much, it starts out being about your anatomy, but really what it's, you don't like yourself. Being a freak in society, being, I call it in my book, a social pariah, is not the way you want to live. The isolation drives you to despair. And so, yeah, suicide is a big, big thing.
Maybe you can remember exact day when you thought about committing suicide, and how did you stop yourself?
Yesterday, I don't know. The first time was right before the surgery in 1990. And the only thing that kept me from doing it, quite honest, is I'm a coward at heart.
Just was so deeply disturbed. At the time, I wanted to end my life, and somebody I knew had some cocaine, so I attempted to use it to kill myself. And it obviously didn't work, but my heart was pounding so hard after I took it that I thought it was going to come out of my chest. I feel safer having done that and not staying in one place very long where people might find out what I do and who I am. I don't want people to know that are around me. I don't want to be outed by the people around me. I was leaving church one day on Sunday, 3-4 years ago now, and I got an email that said, "I'm ready to commit suicide. Can you help me?" And it was a transgender who had lived the transgender life for 2 or 3 years and was totally discouraged with it. I was actually exchanging information and talking with him on some level up to 5 times a day to keep him from committing suicide. He eventually restored his life. He detransitioned back. I've detransitioned now for 25 years, a little longer. And so it was when I detransitioned that everything began to make sense to me. And when I realized that how important it was to detransition to become psychologically, emotionally, and socially a healthy person, that I wanted others who wanted to detransition to have a way to come back to that same experience that I have. And if they have regret and want to detransition, I've built a website for them, sexchangeregret.com. How are you?
Doing good today. Doing good. How about you and KC?
Yeah, we're doing good. Billy contacted me by email like most people do, and we began to exchange information, and I talked to him on the phone. His story was just like mine. He was sexually abused. I was sexually abused, and that was kind of the trigger point of changing genders.
7 years after transitioning to a woman, I started thinking, okay, I've been doing this for 7 years now. My problems should have gone away by now, but they hadn't. And I actually had more problems at that point. Another problem is just trying to pass. I'm trying to do my hair just right, trying to do my makeup just right, trying to look just right to where people would not be uncomfortable, because you can see when people identify you as being transgendered. I was like, this isn't life. Nothing has really changed. I'm still struggling. I was better off as I was before the surgery, before the hormone treatment. So it was at that point, 5 years after the surgery, thereabouts, that I started to have thoughts about changing back. That's my student ID from LSU. That's when I was swimming at LSU. I had a really big Adam's apple, heavy brow ridge, pretty big jaw. This is the ID after I had SRS surgery. And then when I was transitioning back to male in Louisiana, that's the driver's license I got. I had a lot of other pictures from that period, but one day when I was sitting in my office looking at the pictures of me back during this 7-year period, 7-8 years as being female, it was so discouraging that I wasted so much of my life in this particular period doing all of this, that just in the state that I was in, I erased all of the pictures that I had off of the computer and destroyed the pictures of me from that period to try to erase that period in my life. With God's help, I went through the change and I went back to being male. So I went through that surgery, and on the backside of it, I was in so much pain and so much discomfort, and regretted that surgery more than the first SRS surgery that I had. And then when he took the bandages off of my stomach to show me the skin graft, I was almost horrified at it. To me, it was gross. But it was by that surgery and the paperwork that the surgeon gave me saying, when I had the surgery done initially, he gave me the paperwork that said, okay, I've been surgically changed to male.
I'm 60 years old. There's no reason for me, after a lifetime of being in transition, to go and start living, dressing as a man anymore. There's no benefit in it. But there is a benefit in my standing before an audience of young kids in college who are considering this path and saying to them, okay, I'm the real deal. I started living as a woman when I was 20. I've lived 40 years of my life. I've had breast augmentation. I've had genital surgery. I've had 40 years of hormones. All of it has not made my life any better. It's never solved the problem. You break your left leg. You go into a doctor's office, and under the transsexual rule of medical treatment, they say, this is your new normal and we're gonna break your right leg too.
I think it's safe to say that when somebody has been cross-dressed and affirmed physically abused and sexually abused, that psychotherapy is the most needed therapy, not hormones and surgery.
When I met Rachel, I was already legally a man again. Her and her daughter came over to my house for a Fellowship of Christian Athletes meeting. And it was there that I first met her. And that was in 2010. And from there, I invited her for coffee.
And I didn't know what that meant. So I asked one of my classmates, what does that mean? One of my younger classmates. So she said, well, that's a safe way for asking for a date or trying to meet up with somebody.
I shared with her my past and what had happened and how I was. And at that time, she said, okay, let's be friends.
We shared the same interests, like what I was saying. We both liked doing, especially swimming, but triathlons, we liked hiking. I don't know, I know he will say he remembers one time we went on a hike and we sat down for a rest and on a bench, and I kind of sat close to him and put my head on his shoulder.
And it was at that point I knew our relationship was changing, and that it was okay for me to start pursuing Rachel in a romantic way, and I did. The intimacy between Rachel and me, with me being surgically altered, I cannot come to an orgasm. So Rachel and I, we enjoy intimacy.
He asked me pretty soon, after a few months, if I'd marry him. And I think I thought about it for not too long, maybe a week or two, and responded yes. My older daughter said it probably best, is they wanted me to be happy.
And I knew I was going to change back, but the big moment came when I was praying, and the Lord Jesus appeared to me as a vision in the prayer, as though I could touch him, just like I could touch anybody here. And he came and reached down to me with his hands and picked me up and said, "You're now safe with me forever." And it was at that moment that my life changed in a split second. Look at this, I'm healthy. Many of the people who've gone through this before me are dead. They're alcoholics. They're still struggling with their identity, and I'm alive and well and healthy and married for 21 years to my wife. That's redemption, restoration, and I'm helping other people. What other thing that's better in life when you're reaching out and helping other people with their life?
To you, babe. I love you.
I love you.
Did you taste it?
It's kind of tough.
It is. But it's still pretty. It's still pretty tasty. I am so happy I am the way I am now. Even though I have problems, I have a choice to let my problems burden me, or to look up, to see each day as a beautiful day, and just to enjoy life. In his hands, he's got you and me, baby. In his hands, he's got you and me, baby. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.